Hey cousins, so the following video is a previously recorded video from my Facebook profile page. It is cross-posted, so it's going to have some dates and some references that do not apply to today, but I hope you get something out of it. So here we go. Hey guys, okay, part 2 of the video. I hope you were able to check out the video talking about the new ship coming in and how to jump timelines. That was a pretty cool analogy that God gave me early this morning, but it ties in with Saturn in Aries. Okay. And again, I did a video a couple weeks ago explaining what Saturn in Aries looks like or could possibly look like over the next 2.5 years and what that means for you in your life, excuse me, depending on where Aries is in your chart. So Saturn went into or transited into Aries out of the sign of Pisces back in May of this year. And just as a quick recap, Saturn moving into Aries is about forging new paths, having structure around forging this new path, having structure and discipline around your purpose and going down and blazing trails, depending on, again, where Aries is in your chart. Coming out of the sign of Pisces, Saturn is about, or was about over the last 2.5 years, was about being really serious around what your spirituality looks like, what type of faith that you have, tearing down illusions, the lies that you tell yourself, lies that other people tell you, and really getting disillusioned from any type of deceit and deception that surrounds love and compassion, unconditional love specifically, and your spirituality and faith. Okay, so that's just a brief little recap. If you want to where I go, a little further in depth than that, I need you to scroll down my profile and find those videos. But I may link them in the comment section here. But so Saturn went into Aries in May of this year. It is currently still in Aries, but it has gone retrograde. So when a planet goes retrograde, it's the orbit that appears to go backwards. The planet is not orbiting backwards. It just slows down to a very slower pace orbit. And so it appears to go backwards. So the retrograde is an opportunity where you get to revisit the theme of that planet and whatever sign that planet is in. So Saturn has gone retrograde in Aries. And so it's a brief moment where we get to, before we start blazing these new paths forward and forging these new paths forward with confidence and bravery and this independent type of energy of where am I going? It's not necessarily where are others going, okay, or where we are going, because let me just say that Aries and Libra on the axis are sister signs, and Aries is about me and Libra is about we. But because we are in Aries with the planet of Saturn, we're talking about ourselves. This is very self-centered energy. Where am I going? And so during this retrograde, it's about looking at how do I structure my purpose? How do I structure my independence? And what does it look like for me moving forward over the next 2.5 years while Saturn is in Aries? And so it went retrograde. Saturn went retrograde in Aries in July of this year. And it's going to actually go back into the sign of Pisces, I want to say at the end of this month, August 31st, September 1st, something like that. So, and when it does that, that is like a review period. Again, it's a time to reevaluate what Saturn means in that particular sign. And because it's going to retrograde back into Pisces, it means it's going to hit that energetic degree. In astrology, the 29th degree is a critical degree. It's a degree where you are looking at endings and transformations and transitions. It's a degree of releasing any type of unfinished business, any type of karma that you have. These are like contracts. Saturn is like contracts. So it's reviewing and reevaluating the fine print of contracts. And as it makes that retrograde back into Pisces, you're getting that opportunity to look at that Piscean energy. Again, where have I been lying to myself? What type of deception and deceit is around me that I refuse to see? Where have I been disillusioned or delusional about escaping reality? Because that Piscean energy is about escapism, fantasy, the imagination. Like, where have I not been grounded? Saturn wants you to be grounded and structured in the way you approach things. It's a reality check, and a lot of it has to do with, I know there's been a lot of breakups, marriages are being tested, relationships in general, whether that's, romantic or familial. These contracts, these are soul contracts, karmic contracts that are up for evaluation, and having to look at these fated events, things that feel very fated. Like when you look at things in hindsight, it's like, damn, that was supposed to happen. Those were certain lessons that, God was bringing into my life to help me to release or to end certain behaviors, certain mindsets, certain patterns, certain addictions, because that Piscean energy, again, is about escapism. And a lot of times escapism translates to substance abuse or addiction that, turns into addictions because someone is trying to escape some type of reality and not facing some type of truth. So as that relates to the ship analogy and jumping timelines, this is that period. This is that retrograde period where Saturn is saying, okay, we're going to have another quiz. You're going to have another test to go back and test yourself on whether or not you have actually learned the lessons. Are you putting down the addictions? Are you letting go of the lies that you tell yourself and the lies that you allow others to tell you, in being gaslit into believing certain falsities, or just realities that are not true, certain delusions and illusions. Okay. What else? I do believe that is it. I think what I may do is what Saturn in retrograde Saturn in Pisces, what that means in each of the houses. I haven't made up my mind. It's Sunday, and I don't know when you're going to watch this, but it's Sunday today, and it's a day of rest, because it's just a day of rest. And I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I may do that. I'm going to make a note here. So if you're interested in what the fine print, the contracts, the reevaluation period looks like for you, and you would like for me to do a series of what retrograde Saturn in Pisces is going to look like, depending on what house you have Pisces in, then drop that down in the comment section. Just as a preview, I have Pisces in my 10th house, which is career and public image and how I show up in the world. And so for me, it's reevaluating how do I show up in the world and being aligned with my path, my purpose, my spirituality. That's why you've seen a shift in my content, because there was just this nudge, this, inner nudge coming from the universe saying that, are you really showing up in the world in your authentic self in a way that does not put on some type of performance, some type of lie, some type of illusion that you want people to believe you are? Are you really showing up in a structured way that really represents your spirituality, your faith, and what you want your public image to be? And so before it goes station or direct again back into Aries in my 11th house and forging this new path, I have to look at the fine print, and the fine print is my public image. So if you want me to do a series on what that fine print looks like for you, your Saturn contract looks like based on where Pisces is in your chart, then drop that down below and I may consider doing that. So if I get enough people who say yes, then I will do that. Anyway, I hope that's been helpful. Again, I'm going to drop the link to the previous video about the ships and jumping timelines and how this kind of really ties into that, because again, with Saturn making its move back into Aries at the end of, I want to say November is when it goes direct again. It goes out of that retrograde period and goes direct again. It'll move back into Aries eventually. It's go time. It's going to be go time. And so what fine print are you needing to look at so you can go and be aligned with what God has for you? All right. Talk to you soon. I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.